Once you move out of the United States, you can never live there again. You realize that the quality of life is absolute dog shit compared to so many places in the world. That's a video for another day. I made a post about it on Instagram. People were like, why do you say that other places are better? I'm like, bro, like, does that really need to be said? I mean, there's just so much brainwashing. I live here in Mexico, and in the United States, you grow up thinking like, oh yeah, they're all poor people. They have nothing, and cartels run every town. And bro, these people are living such a better life, way better life. They know how to work hard. They know how to play hard. They know how to rest hard. Everything they eat fruit from their neighbor's tree, burritos that their wife cooked that morning, tamales. They know how to drink beers with the boys and have a good time and be outside and connected with nature. Bro, like your average Mexican dude here where I live is living a way better life than the men I grew up around in Ohio.
What a lot of people don't seem to understand and what a lot of people don't seem to realize is that they were sold an absolute lie. Everything that you were told about the quote unquote American dream, everything that you was told about what's a third world country, what's a war zone, what's dangerous, has been an absolute lie. And this gentleman that was just on the video, he is absolutely right. This is the same things that I came to the conclusion of when I first started traveling, man. And I just thought to myself, when I first started traveling, I thought to myself, man, how do I get up out of here? Right? That's one of the first things I was thinking about. It's like, man, this looks like somewhere I want to be. And it's not because a bunch of, Lamborghinis was driving around me. It's not because, there were luxury everywhere. No, it's not because of any of those things. It's because I was able to get a peace of mind. I was able to be around people who were happy in a sense. Listen, can you make a lot of money in America? Absolutely. Right? Is capitalism, in my opinion, one of the better systems for you to make a lot of money and for you to, make a living for yourself? Absolutely. However, you will not be able to live. For the most part, you will not be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. America is only work, 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 sleep, eat, work, work, sleep, eat, sleep, work, work, work. And that's just, and everybody for that reason is miserable, right? And then that doesn't even include the people that capitalism exit out of the way, people that capitalism pushes up out the way, right? Because now America is in hyper capitalism, meaning only a select few even get to enjoy the fruits of the labor in the first place. But man, when I first started traveling, and this is one of the big reasons why I chose to come to Dominican Republic in the first place, is because now I get a peace of mind. Now I have my time back. Right? Did I have to make some sacrifices? Absolutely. Is the place perfect? Absolutely not. Right? No place is perfect, but guess what? It is perfect for me. And don't get me wrong, America may be perfect for you, but looking at the stats and looking at the sentiment and looking at how everybody is interacting with each other, I think that most people will probably agree with me, especially if you traveled. And I remember when I first started traveling, a lot of people were telling me, oh, you need to be safe. Oh, it's a level whatever advisory. They're doing this and they're doing that. You want to be safe. Make sure you be careful. Bro, you can get robbed in broad daylight in Dallas, Texas, right? You can get robbed in broad daylight in any major city in the United States of America. You could be killed just going out. And that goes for anywhere. But it's kind of funny how the U.S. has the audacity to put a level anything out on any country when they themselves in many major cities should probably put a level 2, in some cases level 3 travel advisories out. But you don't see them doing that for themselves, right? And a lot of people think that some of these places are, third world countries and so on and so forth. Don't get me wrong. A lot of places are still developing. However, this is not 1960s. This is not the 1940s where places are completely obliterated and have no running water and no real food or what have you. This is not those time periods. Many of these places are, in many instances, you can go into many areas that has more wealth than some places in the United States. There are some places in other countries that look much better than many of your neighborhoods in the United States, and that's just facts. When I first dropped down to the Dominican Republic, I stayed in a specific area. I was seeing the same exact luxury as if I was in Beverly Hills. I've seen G-Wagons. As a matter of fact, right down the street, I believe it's the owner of the restaurant, but their G-Wagon is parked right in front of the restaurant. But when I first got here, I've seen Ferraris, I've seen G-Wagons, I've seen Mercedes-Benzes, right? I've seen all kinds of things. People have their own business. People are hustling and bustling. So this whole mindset that, oh, America is better, America, has this and it has that and so on and so forth. Don't get me wrong. America has its comforts. America has its advantages, but it's not the end all be all. And when you travel, when you get out and experience culture, when you get out here and experience life, you're going to come to a realization that life is bigger than just luxury.
Welcome to the afterpill.co, your one-stop shop hub for everything that I offer. Whether you're here to book a one-on-one coaching call, join the Patreon community, explore Horizon Atlas, your relocation app, or access my latest content and resources, you'll find it all right here. Choose your path, take action, and start building the life you want.
Right? Life is bigger than just, in some instances, comfortability. And when I say comfortability, I'm talking about what Americans view as comfortability, right? Many Americans, they view comfortability as, can I get my Amazon shipment today, or can I get my Amazon shipment tomorrow? That's what y'all view as comfortability. And here in the Dominican Republic, no, you're not about to get a package in the next 24 hours. No, that's not about to happen. Right. So there's going to be certain conveniences and certain comfortabilities that you do have to sacrifice. However, coming from America, growing up in America, being born and raised in America, and being where I am now, even in the first, how long has it been? First 30 days, I'm absolutely satisfied. Right? Is there certain things that I have to get used to? Of course. Is there a language barrier that I have to get used to? Somewhat. I came from Texas, so a ninja had to speak a little bit of Espanol in the first place, right? So there are certain things that you're going to sacrifice. There are certain things that you're going to get used to, and there's certain things that you're going to absolutely love. But the whole propaganda machine is just a complete lie, right? Especially in 2026. And it's almost like you have access to Google, you have access to ChatGPT, you have access to Claude, you have access to Grok, and it baffles me that a lot of people still don't know what's going on right in their backyard, right? You have people that don't know what's going on in their city, right? You have people that don't know what's going on in their state. People don't know what's going on in the country, let alone, somewhere, miles out across the seas. And they have access to all the information that they need to be able to determine if something is this, if something is that. But people don't do the research, right? And this is where lack of education comes in at, man. This is where the lack of knowledge, and then just the willpower to go out and seek the knowledge and seek the information. America's run on ignorance and propaganda, right? Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. America is the most successful propaganda machine in modern day history, right? I gotta call it how I see it. America's the most successful propaganda machine in history. It successfully sold a fairy tale. It successfully sold a dream, and maybe it used to exist, right? In some form or fashion, maybe it used to exist. But in my opinion, I believe it existed, right? Which I've always said, right? Post-World War, it existed post-World War for a few decades, right? If that. It existed post-World War for a few decades. After that, it was straight downhill, right? The majority of people that even got to experience, right? The quote unquote American dream were the boomers. And then on top of that, we're not talking about immigrants. We're not talking about black people or anybody else, because they had their own, ish to deal with and didn't really get to enjoy the quote unquote American dream that was sold in that time period anyway. And by the time people got to, experiencing it from other groups, shit was going downhill. So there was only a subset of people, white boomers, who were able to experience what we call the American dream. Everything else is just, you just make more money than everybody else, right? What people qualify, what people try to say is the American dream now is just basically, you just make more money than everybody else in the world. That's about it, right? But then on top of that, you're paying more taxes, right? They're taking everything from your check. You taxed immediately before you get your check. Social Security, that's not going to exist anymore. Medicare, Medicaid, FIFA, whatever else is on that dang on receipt, right? What else? Well, as soon as you go to a store, tax. As soon as you buy something, tax. You're taxed at the gas pump, right? Iran war, triple tax. So you're getting taxed on every single front. So really, in reality, you're getting taxed at a 65+ % rate, right? If you really think about it. So they're taking all of your money. And then on top of that, you getting a cost of living tax. So buying a house is out of reach for most of y'all. And then on top of that, your job is not increasing the wages. Some of y'all been at these jobs 5-10 years. You still making the same money you were making in 2000, Jack. How does that work? So this whole American dream and the whole lie that, it's dangerous out there, there's nothing out there for you, that's just to keep you in. They need slaves. Don't y'all understand? Right? They need slaves. They need people to believe in the lie. They need people to believe in the propaganda. So they need to keep you here, right? They need people to work. And probably in the next few years or so, they probably just gonna say the hell with all of y'all and just go ahead and monitor y'all with the robots. And listen, I don't know what they got planned for y'all, but they want to keep you on the plantation, right? When you get out here and experience life, man, it just opens up your mind, right? When you get out here and immerse yourself in a different language, a different culture, right? A different part of the world, right? It just opens, it does something to you. Right. And then if you get to experience, a sort of peace, you get to experience life away from the rat race. Don't get me wrong. You're still going to, grind, and you still got to make money. You still got to, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, or you're an aspiring business owner, entrepreneur, you still got to do what you need to do to survive. You still got to pay for things and so on and so forth. But it's not the same rat race. Right? It's not the same, chasing your tail. It's not the same. It's just not the same. Right? You're going to get out here and, of course, it depends on where you go. But in most places, you're going to get out here and experience life. I really feel like a lot of Americans don't really get to experience life, especially from a youngin'. Right? The pressure is on you from the get-go. As soon as you leave high school, go ahead and get out there and go to work. And then you ain't making no money. So you got to stay with your parents. And then if you do go to school, the degree that you get is not worth the damn, or they just, oversaturated and they not hiring. And even if they do hire you, they not going to pay you anything. So it's in 2026, the pressure is on, right? From early adult, teenager, all the way up to 20s, 30s, and even 40s, because you got people in their 30s and 40s who can't even afford to live. So this is the predicament of a lot of Americans, man. They don't even understand what is out here. And then if you look at the stats, most people in America don't travel, right? And if they have traveled, it's probably somewhere like Mexico. They've been to Cancun, or motherfucker went across the border to Toronto or something like that, Tulum, right? They've never really been out. They never really ventured out into the world. They never been out to Southeast Asia. They never been out to the Caribbean, right? The real Caribbean. They never been out to, deep into South America. They never been out to Africa. They never been, throughout Europe. They never been to any of these places. So a lot of people's mind and what's contained in their mind is limited. right? So when you have a limited point of view, when you have a limited perspective, guess what? Everything that you do in your life, the way that you think, the way that you breathe, the way that you operate in the world is going to be limited. And that's just not in the United States. Of course, you got many people across the world that have never been anywhere else. But all out honesty, the video, he was right. He was absolutely right. And I'll do it a second time. I'll leave America a second time. I'll leave America a third time. I'll leave a fourth time. I'll keep on doing it. And once you get a taste of leaving, you absolutely right. You're not going to want to go back. Once you get a taste of getting away from that 9-to-5 job, you're not going to want to go back. You're going to figure out everything possible to get things in order. You're going to want to figure out everything possible not to go back. Trust and believe. You're going to do everything possible to maintain that peace. You're going to do everything possible to remain steady where you are, because going back is not an option, especially for a lot of people who've discovered, peace, who've discovered something new, who've discovered a new mindset, who've discovered, food, like everything that we were told, from the food to the water, everything, man, they're doing all kinds of things. And once you get to a place, you're going to see how fresh a lot of things are, right? Even some of the vendors that I shop with for fruits and coconuts or something like that, man, I'll go buy something from them. Man, it tastes wonderful, feels wonderful. You can feel it in your body, right? A lot of people in America are addicted to fast food. Why? Because they work so much, right? You're working 15, 16 hours. You don't have any time to enjoy yourself. You don't have time to sit down and put together a proper meal. You just need the McDonald's, man. I got to get going. I'm tired. I don't have time to cook. I got 2 kids. I got 3 kids, man. Everybody's hungry. I need to get this going. I can't be doing this. So you do what's convenient. And that's what's killing America. Convenience. Immerse yourself in a different culture, right? Attach yourself to difficulty, right? Attach yourself to a little bit of uncomfortability to get to that comfort and get to that peace. And I promise you, your life will change. And listen, man, the after pill is the ideology. The escape blueprint is the framework. And PFP life is how you should live, in purpose, in freedom, and in power. If you want more of this mindset, listen, come and check out the website. It's a one-stop shop for everything. If you want some consultation, you want a one-on-one call so you can determine if moving overseas and relocating is for you. If you want to check out the Horizon Atlas app, your relocation app, come over to the website. If you want to join the Patreon, if you want to join the inner circle, come over to the website, my first ever website, new and improved website. Click that link down in the description, pinned to the top of the chat, and I'll see you guys over there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Welcome to the afterpill.co, your one-stop shop hub for everything that I offer. Whether you're here to book a one-on-one coaching call, join the Patreon community, explore Horizon Atlas, your relocation app, or access my latest content and resources, you'll find it all right here. Choose your path, take action, and start building the life you want.